Hey guys, how you doing? I'm back. Let's get into this. Start right now. Okay, this is a game between Angeline Arba Lopez versus Timur Gravi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. But it was a really interesting game, and he's known as the kind of like a brilliant blindfold chess player. He drew this. It's actually um, from the one of the Dallas tournaments he participated in. So we went over a game prior. I think it was about 5 or 6 or 7 days ago of a game with him, or maybe it might have been a week or so ago. But it was in the same tournament. This one was a draw. He didn't do too well in that tournament, so I pulled out the win and the draw so that we can see how he played, because he's a really good player. He has a very sporadic style. I like that because he's unpredictable, and so you sometimes have to pull out the up rising stars in the chess community, and he's one of them. Okay, e4, c5, knight c, and he's black, by the way. Knight c3, e6, and the idea is basically to play d5 potentially. You can also play knight to c6, knight c6, and then d5 or knight f6. But he's going to play here, so you kind of got to be careful. This also allows for the potential of a rerouting of the knight, like that, and then pushing. There's a lot of different ways of going about. So f4 is played. This is more of an attacker, Sicilian. He's wanted to White's wanting to go for a big time attack, so he's getting ready so that when this is played here, if it gets played with this, he'll be able to push. He'll be able to push onward and then grab space on the king side. So, which will be a pretty good bind for White if you think about it. So d5 is played right away. Wham! Knight f6, d takes, knight takes. So now the c5 pawn's under fire. Not really, if you want to think about it. It's protected by the bishop. This f4 pawn has some play because it used to be on f2, so that when the knight moved to f3, the pawn would be blocked. And if the king can get castled king side, White's king, now it has an open file potentially to take scope on. So you have to always look at the pros and the cons, but it does leave this diagonal open. So that is kind of the drawback with castling. There's always a drawback in chess. You got to remember that. Nothing's free. There's no free lunch in this world. It's one thing you have to learn. If they say free, there's usually something attached to it. Except the gift. Okay. Yeah, the gift of salvation. Truly. Okay. So let's see here. Bishop e7, which next we're going to prepare to play knight to f6. And if he takes, then we can have a bishop on, so if this takes here, we get a bishop on f6 with a huge scope like that. So that'd be really good for us. So d4, so he takes d4, queen takes d4, queen takes d4, and knight takes d4. So now we've simplified down. The queens are coming off the board. The chance of an attack now is very small. So it's going to potentially end up a draw, but you still remember, never give up. Never give up, because you never know, your opponent might allow you to set up a tactic here. And then we take advantage of that tactic and we finish the game off. a6. This stops the knight from coming in here. See that White's idea would love to play here and then in there, because otherwise what you would have is, if you tried to stop that, then you potentially could come in and maybe even takes, so a6 makes more sense. It also does a couple things. It prepares to go b5 as well, so that when the expansion happens. So also that's kind of the idea. It stops the b5 push and prepares b5 for the pawn push. So you have to always look at their ideas to kind of see what they're going to play. So bishop e2, knight f6, knight takes, which I don't really like that move in my opinion. I think it's forced, because once the knight play there, you're kind of forced to play there. You're kind of forced to take at that point. But this does give the black a really nice, come on, oops, wrong win. A really nice diagonal to attack on. Bishop e3, bishop d7. Now, if we can, and this is kind of like a French, it's a Sicilian, but the setup is like the French. So this gives, this makes the light squared bishop really bad. So if there was any way that we could maybe play like knight c6, and if then knight c6, knight takes c6, and then bishop takes. Now the light squared, this bishop's good, and that bishop would be good. Oops, right here, these pieces. Castle queenside for black, which now that attacks the pawn. Knight c6, bishop f3. We have rook c8 with an attack on the king right on through. So b3. So now the chance of castling is not really going to happen for black, because if he castles, of course you guys see the idea, wham, and so a whole piece would be lost for castling, so it's impossible to do that. The knight comes, but why castle when we can go for an attack, right? Wham ourselves, we're going to go boom. So now the bishop blocks and is also attacking the knight. We have a5 to protect the knight, so when bishop takes, bishop takes pawn, c7. So now two pieces are under fire. The bishop is under fire, and potentially this pawn at this moment is under fire as well. And wham, there you go. So now he's got to move, and then we're right back. We won our pawn, and our knight's positioned perfectly. So all we need now to do is to trade this guy off and then pick up the bishop. So that's why the bishop had to move, because if it played something like, we'll say something like this, we'd play there, and then if it's like, oh, I'm gonna develop a rook over here, you play that. When you take back, of course you guys see there's the piece falls. So that's kind of the idea. So white just sidesteps that with bishop to b6, and now he's attacking the pawn here and this rook. So it's a good compromise. But guess what black says to white? You can attack that pawn, but I'm attacking your bishop now. So, and he's protecting the knight, so that if the bishop ever like retreats here, you can always pick up a pawn. Bishop, like if this ever happened here, if he retreated, you can always pick up a pawn, and if that gets played, you can just take there, and if that gets played, now your bishop's outside the pawn chain. Probably better, you might want to actually play that first, and then if takes there, you take here, and if takes here, that's an interesting setup. So now the pawn's gonna fall. Now the bishop's under fire. And we want to pick up a pawn. We gotta try to get a pawn off the board if we can. G3 to protect this pawn here. Castle kingside. So, boy, this is getting pretty intense here. You gotta love that. Now this pawn's under fire and pinned. This knight's under fire. So if the knight ever did this, you would have the surprise of your life on your hands there. And then now you can just double up your rooks, and it's like, what did I just do? What did I just do? This is not good. Or you potentially could just, maybe do a discovery and pick up a bishop in the process. Wham. That's probably best. So we'll then you just pick up the bishop. Yeah. So a6, a5, rook b8, rook h, e8, e1. Now we're attacking the bishop. Takes. This gives us a retreat square for our bishop to go to. So you gotta love that. Knight. King moves up. Bishop takes. Uh-oh. My system's stalling again. No. Okay, good. I think this is a draw at this point. Let's go back here. Come on, don't stall on me now. Don't stall on me now. Come on, reconnect for us. Reconnect. Uh-oh, come on. Don't stall on me now. Let's see if this is having the same problem. Let's see. What do we got here? Okay, it's reconnecting. Sweet. Okay, we're good now. Let's see if there is any hope here at this point. I want to just take a look. Okay, so there's no hope there. Okay, so good so far. Huh. Interesting. This dominates the knight because usually a bishop 2 squares away from like this the bishop dominates all the squares where the knight can go. I'll show you. Let's just do this. So the knight would try to go here, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. So, and it can't go there, of course, because it's dominated by the bishop. I just wanted to show you guys that. Okay. Let's see if black ever had any advantage here. Well, just trying to see does this have any advantage. It's casual. Okay, I'll do one game with the player. I think I promised this player that I'd play a long time ago, so I'll see if he's actually going to play. It's just casual. So this is I'm going to try to set up for the London maybe. If your opponent ever plays kind of awkward, just play principle. If you're like, what in the world's that move? Just play principle, develop a piece. If you're like, I don't have an idea why my opponent played that, just play principle. Play principle. Let's see here. Let's see if could I actually grab that pawn? I think I could. Then he can't. If I play there, he can't play here, because my queen would be guarding that. Let's just grab the pawn. If they offer it to you, grab it. If there's no flaw to it. So let's see, what do we got here? Okay, so he's playing that. All right. Let's just develop our bishop out all the way there. Keep the pin. Now if he plays there, we can just push up. Yeah, we're good. So he's weak. Our opponent is weak all over the place. If we take here, and he takes back with the pawn, we do have our queen moving out here. Yeah, I like that idea. let's develop a knight and also attack this pawn and maybe potentially come in there. That might be an idea. Well, there's a lot of attack. We have all the attack here, guys. And then we pick up the queen. Now we pick up a pawn. Pick up another pawn with mate on that one. Okay, that was a good game. Alright, we'll get on to our puzzles now. Alright. So let's see, what do we got here? Somehow get off that. Yeah, there we go. It's off that. Oops, wait. Hold on. There we go. That was weird. What the heck was... Oh, good. I thought we blundered or something and lost points. I'm like, no! Because we're so close to 1600. We don't... excuse me. We don't want to make any inaccurate decisions here. And you don't want to assume anything. You don't want to assume nothing. Like, it'd be tempting, let's just take the bishop. No, because if you notice, if we take this bishop here, the rook could take back, and then our attack's all over. So we got to find something better. Is there something better? Because our queen also is under fire here. See that? So we have to, and also our rook. Wow, that's an attack. For sure, that's a huge attack. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So we have this cross attack going on. So, yikes. So with one move, it tells you right there, with one move, it may have been a mistake on White's part, but with one move, if you notice, it did two things. It attacked here, and you're also attacking here, so it's like this pawn's attacking the d5 and the bishop, and this rook's under fire, so it's like, wow. It's not a sound move. I don't like the move because I think it's just too revealing of Black's position. You got to make sure that your king's safe, and in my opinion, White's king's a little not safe. Let me see here. Okay, we could play knight takes f3. I'm gonna be very careful. I'm not gonna touch anything. Just knight takes f3 is an interesting idea with check. So we have these ideas. So you have knight f3, and that would be with check. Or you have knight takes f1, or you can just move the queen. You can just move the queen too if you wanted to. There's knight takes f. There is knight takes f3, Oops. Drat, I didn't do the take. Sorry guys, hold on. Knight takes F3. Check. There we go. Sorry, I got to fill in where the knight F3 is. Just put a just fill this in for that one. I forgot to put a take sign on there, so one sec. Let me get a drink. And by the way, you played a good game, so you know what? Thank you for the game. I should say that too. If you're listening, thank you for the game. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to see if we actually play. Also, I apologize. There's one more move too. I should put in there. Rook takes c1. I forgot to put that in there. There's one more move you could play. And then if rook takes c1, this is kind of the idea. Rook takes c1. Yikes! Stop doing that. Queen takes. So rook takes, queen takes, queen takes, bishop, queen takes, queen, knight takes, and then king takes, pawn takes, and I don't know if we acquire enough out of that line. I'm kind of a little concerned about. We could play knight takes f3 check if the king comes up and attacks our knight. What do we have at that point? You have to always take in scope of that. We don't really have anything, and even if he comes up here, we don't have anything. There's also a potential. This is kind of an odd move too. Knight takes, and then if bishop takes, queen, rook takes, rook. If queen takes, knight takes, bishop, we'd be down a whole piece in that line. So that would not be what we want to do. Very, very interesting. Oh, you do? Let's put it in, because you never know. You know, I'm trying to see, there's so many sequences here that you can actually play. You have to always keep in mind that your queen's on. Stop. Come on, there you go. Your queen's on pre, so just keep that in mind. Your queen could be taken. Yeah, so rook first. That's an interesting idea. Queen takes, and then our queen's still on pre at that point. This is still under fire, and then that would be under attack. And I think I see yeah. Oh, good. How are you doing? Hey. It's good to hear. You know what? It's we looked at it. Wasn't it is an interesting idea this here, because if you do take this, and then what you can actually do at this point is take here, there. Oops, get that out. Here, king takes, and I don't know if we get enough from that. I think it would probably end up becoming a draw. And you have to remember something too. Maybe the whole goal is don't worry about the queen. Just let the queen be taken. Sometimes the idea is based around giving your opponent enough that they will end up defeating themselves. Sometimes that actually happens in play. You'll be surprised how many times games are won by opponents getting too greedy. They think, you know what, I can win a queen or something, and in reality, 10 moves down the road, it's checkmate. So let's see. Just trying to see if there's anything we can set up for. Maybe we can just give him our queen and set up for an attack somewhere. Is there any move we can play? That was a good proposal. It would work out. You'd end up probably with a draw, but you know what? It's that that's sometimes in some positions, if you're low in time and you kind of don't know what to do, rather than losing, it's better to go for a draw, because just trade everything down, go for a draw. Even if the opponent's less level than you, maybe in an over the board game, it's not a loss. You'll just go to somebody who has drawn also, and you might get a better game from that. So don't ever feel that a draw is a loss. Sometimes a draw is a victory. So don't ever worry about that. Let's see here. Drat. This is a pretty tough one. Trying to see if we have anything. Maybe like pawn takes e4. Potentially, maybe that. Oops. Potentially, maybe this could happen, and then if the bishop takes the queen, we can maybe just come in with check. But I don't know if we accomplish anything with that. He just wins our queen and everything. We could win a pawn here if we played this move here, there, and then nope, we actually, my bad, we actually lose material. So that can't be played. Snikies. We could move our queen to b7. That might be an idea. We could take the bishop. So we could actually play this. Bishop, knight takes, and then rook takes. Now the queen's down on pre, and we could bring our queen in with an attack. That's an interesting move for sure. True. True. Yeah, like if he plays here, he could just take there. And we take, and then queen comes over. Yeah, that's a potential in route as well. And then we can just bring our queen right there and say, you know, are we good? Then the queen can come back there, and then we would take, and we'd be in this very similar predicament that we were priorly in if we exchanged everything off in the first line. Boy, this is a and sometimes you can actually use drawback chess. So let's just do one thing, because we really can't calculate this. We've calculated every move. Let's just see the drawbacks behind this move. 1 second, I get a drink, and then we'll get back into it. Yummy water. Okay, the drawback to this move here is, if you want to think about it, it gave up this pawn's protection. So, and also it overextended. It laid this weakness here too. So let me see. So let's just take a quick check on something. Let me see here. Okay, if knight, let's just take a look at this here then. Knight takes, king up. Queen b7, king takes, pawn takes, king takes. King can't take, sorry. King's here. So the king would have to move. I'm not sure if we acquire anything after that. Let's see here. Let's just take a look. Okay, if queen b7, let's say pawn takes d6. We could take here. King moves up. Yeah, so I think rook takes first. Okay, so let's take a look. So rook takes. Okay, and then queen takes would probably be the response, because they would want to attack. Well, I guess then no, the queen's still on pre at that point. See, this queen's still on pre here, and then the queen would be attacking there, so we're still under fire there. We could win 2 pawns for a piece, but I don't know if we accomplish enough for that. I'm trying to see if we take here, queen takes, knight takes, king up, queen to b7, king takes, then pawn takes. Oh, it's a 0 rated puzzle? So what's the so the first thing is takes, is that right? Oh boy, I'm not surprised though. So basically it's queen to b7. Is that kind of the idea? Queen b7 here. So it's rook takes and then queen. Is it rook takes c1, queen takes c1, oops, not rook takes, I forgot to put a queen in there, queen takes c1. Is that kind of the move? Is it just moving? Is it so? It's what is it? Just like is it? It's not queen. It's not queen b7. B7 is it? I know I said that. Oh. Gotta be. That's. Wow. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Nobody did rate that. So. Well, it teaches you. I was one time watching on St. Louis, one of the times, that there's something called silent moves, and potentially it could have been like a silent move. You know, like it's teaching you to, sometimes the puzzle's not always about brute force. Sometimes it's just about exchanging down. It was a very interesting puzzle, to say the least. So the knight, let's see, what did he take, by the way? Oh, he took a pawn, okay. But I'm trying to see, we're so close to checkmate. Is there any way we can get our queen in there? Because if we can get the queen, oh, we can't even get that because the bishop guard's there. Snap! We're so close to checkmating. What did it? Okay, rook takes, and then knight takes. Okay. Okay. If we take here, the rook is potentially going to take. And then he's kind of skewering both our pieces. So he'd get a piece back. Well, maybe. If he did that, we do have the ability of retreating our. Oops, come on. So if we played, it's not that one. We played here. He played here. We do have the ability of dropping back to e3. So there is a kind of line. Knight takes d4. Rook takes e4. Then bishop e3 to protect the piece. And I think we'd be okay in that line. Good water. Let's see here. Huh. There's only one sitch slightly about that. Because if we, okay, let's say we, oops, stop that. Let's see, we go here, he takes here, right? Then we come up, he can play bishop takes. If we slide over, he actually can cover up with the rook, protected by the bishop, so we really don't have that opportunity. Yeah, it's not a bad move. It would work if but one thing, if this rook wasn't here, and if this bishop wasn't eyeing the g4 square, it would actually work. But it's this bishop that's the thorn in our side, because if it wasn't here, we could actually take. Then when his rook takes, we can come over, but this bishop guards the square for this rook to slide to. I'll change the colors of it for you guys. I'll show you here, 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 there, and then his rook slides over here, protected by that, and it's like, so close. We're so close to mate. That's, yeah. Ooh, f4, interesting. So f4 with the bishop. Well, then the king gets out of the box, so he's boxed in here. We're one move away from, if we can set up somehow get our queen here, we win. So we have to think about how can we get our queen there? How can we do that? Huh. Yeah, that could potentially work. So this is kind of the idea. So knight takes, okay. So let's try that. So knight takes d4, rook takes e4, f4, rook takes d4. I don't know. Do we let's see, do we accomplish our plan? Let's see here, there. He can actually slide over, I guess, with the bishop. I take with the bishop. Ah, come on. Here, here, there, there. Not sure. Sometimes the most plain and simple idea is just the takes. Oh, queen c3 first. Okay. Okay, gotcha. So queen c3 first. If knight takes c f3, queen takes f3. Rook takes. That's interesting for sure. Huh. I still though think we could pick up a piece. Okay, so knight takes, rook takes, queen c3. Okay. Okay, so let's give this a go one more time. We'll get it. Don't worry. Don't worry. So here. Okay, queen c3. Yeah. That's the only sitch. I'm still liking knight takes, and then if rook takes, we just drop our bishop back. I'm kind of liking that idea. I think we pick up a piece in that line. That's really the only thing I see that actually gives us any advantage, is that we just pick up we win the knight. I don't really see anything else The piece on the square is the drawback. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that taking is the correct, and then retreating back. Oh, yikes. That's my fault there. What did I... What? Hmm. Interesting. Why doesn't the bishop retreating back work? Let me see. Huh. Yeah, I think it's because it cuts this off here. And we still potentially have a... Okay. Drat. That's not fun. We'll get it back, though. What do you take? Okay, we played bishop takes, that, okay. So our rook's under fire at this moment. Huh. Yeah, it only had 3 votes, you're right. Only had 3 votes. That's not... or 13, not... Sorry, 3. I was thinking because of a combination of 3. Okay, so if we play... There's this move. Knight, yeah, takes C5. And if E takes F3, we have bishop D2, and we should be able to pick up the bishop. So we have to be careful of taking, because remember, he's got a mate threat here. So if we actually, let's say we take here, he takes there, we take here, he actually has checkmate right here. So what you'd have to actually do first, is take here. If he takes there, you play bishop d2. When the queen moves, well, I guess we do lose a... Snikey's not again. I guess he could just move his queen. He could just move the queen over here, couldn't he? No, he can't move the queen there. He's got to move the queen back. Okay, we do win, yeah. Yeah. This has to be the move then. And then here. And then you just grab that. I think we have to take the pawn. I think you gotta take the pawn at this point. Because if you do that, he comes over here and checkmates you. So pawn takes, if queen takes, then we drop the knight. So if pawn takes, the rook can't slide over here because the knight guards that square. So here, so here, if the rook comes there, you can always just drop your knight back, attacking the queen and protecting the pawn. Yeah, it's got to be pawn takes. That's the only way to guard that. Because if you ever played this here, you just drop your knight back. That's guarded. That's under fire. The queen has to retreat, and then you can actually just pick up either. You could pick up either that pawn on f5 or knight c6. Okay. Bye bye. Be blessed. Bye bye. Thanks. Thank you for coming on. I like that one. I'll vote for it. I'll give it a vote. That's a really good one. It has a lot of good bones for tactics. Let's see, what do we got here? What first comes to mind is queen takes d5. Because that's a double threat of an attack here on the knight, and then rook to c6. That's a double threat. One sec, I'll be right back. Guys, take a look. I'm thinking it's queen takes d5. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to see what you think. I'm thinking it's queen takes, because then that prepares for a rook advance to c6. Check. How you guys doing? Hey. Oh no, I haven't. I'm still here. Just had to step away to get a water real quick. See, water. Alright, cool. Alright. Yeah. This one's pretty... There's actually two move sequences you can do. You can play Queen to C6. Oh, that's not good. Well, do you know what? Hope you feel better, man. It's never good to feel sick. Yeah, I had had a business trip that I had to go on. So, and I was gone. It took me away for a couple days. I miss streaming with you guys. But, you know, when the business world calls, you have to answer. So, but I'm back now, and let's make up the time, as they would say. We'll make up the time. Queen B6. I didn't even consider that. Huh. That is an interesting move. I was considering actually queen takes d5. That was actually check. Sorry, I forgot to add the check. You gotta add the check to that. Because the reason I was thinking queen takes d5 was a fork. Was a fork. And the threat of that attacks the rook. Rook h7. See, I actually liked that is an interesting line. So queen takes king h5. Rook to oh, c7. Okay, so here rook c7. Interesting. Yeah, that actually does work better, doesn't that? Huh. Yeah, because that would pick up a piece, wouldn't it? So here check, and then if he moves, then you have rook c7. I'm liking rook c7. Queen would have to flee, so if it went to where could it actually go? Boy, it's kind of stuck, isn't it? So it'd have to go here. Then you could slide a rook over, check. The king came there. You have then you could play rook takes, rook, king takes. Then you can actually no, you can't slide the queen over because the queen's guarding there, huh? But that is a predicament, isn't it? Well, maybe you could do an in-between move and knight. Huh, so bishop. So if we played queen takes b6, king h5, rook c7, queen to b8, or f8, we can throw in maybe knight to f4, pawn takes, check, and if the king tried to flee over there, we could take back, and we could, that might be queen b6. It gives more attacking. Well then, let's just say if we took here, he has that there. If we checked, he could come there. Let's see if we played here. If we come up there, okay, he can actually, no, he really can't block. He can flee though. Huh. Yeah, because if we played on queen takes d5, rook comes over, rook check, king comes h5. We don't accomplish anything. Man, oh Manischewitz, that would be a sad state of affair there. That'd be very upsetting. Yeah, he could just move his rook and he's fine to go at that point. Yeah, I'm thinking that this, yeah, that's gotta be right. And then we have to do the in-between move, like what you're saying there. And now we have to consider that at this point, because he's going to try to come in here with his king, come in here. So do we play knight to f4 at this point? Do we play knight f4, which sacrifices our knight, but in the process of doing so, it opens up the position, which then would allow us after takes. So this is what I'm talking about. Knight f4, check, g takes f4, rook, rook h7, h7, check, king to g4, and then we finish it off with maybe I missed something there too. I think I might be slightly missing something. I'll just put that in there. I think I might be missing some. Let me see here. Okay, hold on. Because you want to make sure. Takes, check, king over. Well, you could take, then if the king moves down, then you slide over and that would be mate. No, I'm thinking we're good. I'm thinking the knight to f4 check is because we don't want him to get to a g4. We don't want king g4 because then we don't have any more checks. And surprisingly, he's safe at that point. So we kind of got to pry this position open. But I think his queen can intercept at that point. Well, not if we take with check. Then he can't. Cause then okay. Yeah, cause this is a difficult one. Cause if we play there, takes, check, here, pawn takes. You'd have to actually take at this point to cover, so that when the king moves forward, we bring the queen over. And if the queen ever tried to intercept, then we checkmate him. Yeah, I think. What do you guys think? I'm believing it's the next move is knight f4 check. I think we have to actually sack our knight to open up the position for a mate. But the problem is he doesn't have to. Man, this is a tough predicament. Yeah, I just realized that. Hey, how you doing? I just realized that after this move, he doesn't have to. He could just move there. Oops, wrong spot. He could just move there. I missed that. Good thing we didn't move. I think we just play check at this point here, because then if he goes here, we could just take at that point. And then when the king takes, we just bring the queen over. I see what you're saying, yeah. It's actually king g4. King g4. Very interesting to say the least. Hey economy, how you doing? Actually, if we do this, I apologize, he has to take, because the rook's hanging. And when we play f4, the rook is hanging. I can't believe I didn't see that. That's funny. Because if he plays here, we just snap off the rook and we've won a whole rook. Yeah, it is this. If he takes here, yeah. If he actually takes here, you first, I believe, you check here, and if he comes over here, you take. He comes there, and I believe that's checkmate. So if he takes here, comes over to check, and if he goes here, you then first take the queen, rotates, or could you do, or is that better? I think we could just take there. Anyways, so if he comes here, let's check. So you probably have to check there. Okay. And if he comes here, you have checkmate. So here, he'd have to intercept there, and you could pick up a come down like this. I believe you're close to, I think that's mate. So he's gonna have to come over here. At that point, you can actually attack this, and if he checks there, you just run away, and if he checks, you just run. And now he's gonna have to protect the pawn. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to. Actually, I can't. I really can't do anymore. It's good everything, guys. So, God, I didn't realize it was one. Okay, I hope you do too, man. Be blessed and Lord be with you. Okay. Okay, guys, I gotta. Oops, I have to go back. Do you guys have any questions on this? Because yeah, I gotta log at this point. Let's see here, 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 and there. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before I log off? We're coming back up the ladder, guys. We had a one boo-boo, but we took care of that. We took care of the mistake. You guys have any questions on this puzzle before I log off? I'd love to play with you, but I can't tonight. And we'll do, if you do a longer game and casual, maybe tomorrow, if you log on, I'll play a casual game. Because rating is kind of, it's not about the rating, it's about learning. Do you guys have any questions on this? I'll give you guys a minute. And I'll see it, because it's sometimes there's a lag, so take your time, write if you have any questions on this puzzle. I really like this puzzle, so I'm going to vote for it. I'm giving it a vote. I'll give you one more minute, because you know, you guys might have some questions about this. So I'll wait till 103. Then I have to log off. But if you put something in, we'll talk about it. Yeah. So We will see if you guys have anything, because I'll be ready to answer any of your guys' questions. As long as it applies to chess, of course. Okay, let's see. Has any notes came in? Nope. Okay. Well, I'll take that as everybody's okay. So, thank you guys all for logging on. Thank you for the raid. Be blessed, guys. Be safe tonight. And we got to keep all the people that are in Japan and China in our prayers, because there's a really bad storm going through right now, and we need to just pray for them and keep them in your thoughts. If you don't pray, just keep them in your thoughts. And so just keep that in mind. And I wanted to say, you know what? Knowing is not enough, like Bruce Lee said, we need to apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. And remember, your worth is not in your rating, but in what you know. And that, you use your mind that the Lord's given you. Like Hannibal Smith said, you have to always have a plan. And in the position, there is a plan. If you are due diligent and do your due diligence works, you can find that plan. It's a little bit difficult. It's going to take some brain thinking, but we can do it. We will find that plan. And when we do, we get to say, I love it when a plan comes together, and that's the whole thing. Well, remember, though, what he says a plan is, and then I'll leave you with the thought after this. The plan is a plan that you make your opponent do what you want them to do on the board. You know what they're going to do, you plan for it, and you set up for it. That is a plan, he said. Okay, I'll leave you with these thoughts. As Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless. And I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Be blessed, guys. I'm back, and we're going to start studying some more London, and we're going to kick it up a notch and keep doing good. So be blessed, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Lord willing, I'll be back on. I have to remember to say that, because you know what? Every day is a blessing from the Lord, so we have to keep that in mind. So, Lord willing, I'll be back on. And you know what? You guys be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye, guys. Be blessed. Bye-bye. Great job.